All right. We are sitting in front of Lake Okeechobee. It's Sunday, January 17th, 12:10 p.m. And
we can see the lake.
We can finally see the lake.
Is.
Yeah, we had to take a special detour to get here, but I think it was worth it. A lot has transpired since our last clip.
Yeah, man.
And we didn't make one yesterday.
That's like a black boxer.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen one of those before.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she's cute. Is it a girl?
I don't know. Didn't see a penis.
Well, what's the difference between us? We can start with the penis. What's the difference between us? We can start with the penis. It's Eminem. Man, a lot has occurred.
Yeah.
Mostly just conversationally.
And idea stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't make a clip at all yesterday. Did you say that already?
I did.
Oh. But we didn't do it.
It's still true. Yeah.
So, I guess we'll start at yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was a nice morning. Very, very windy day, and the wind really started to pick up as soon as we left. But we took our time in the morning, dried out the tent, had some coffee, some tea, some nice poops, and some other things.
Down by the gator water.
Yeah. Down by the Cripple Creek. But yeah, headed out. We had, it was very windy. We were just walking along the levee.
It was cold, too.
It was cold, yeah.
It's still cold.
Yeah, it's still cold. It's in the mid-60s, but the wind makes it feel like the low 60s.
It's the lake effect.
Yeah, we're getting the full brunt of it here, too.
Yeah.
We had lunch at a little covered picnic bench thing, which was nice.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, presumably made for the Florida hiking people. Florida trail hiking people.
We think we saw some hunters or
something.
Recreational boatists.
Yeah.
But as soon as they saw us, they ran to their boats and drove away. So
Yeah.
I had the feeling that they were maybe doing something sketchy.
They might have been.
Poaching, smoking weed, doing other drugs.
Yeah. Then got right back in their airboats and took off. Those things are so loud, surprisingly loud.
Yeah. Horribly loud.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we pushed, pretty much, there was nothing between where we started and I guess Buckhead Ridge, right? So we basically
And even at that, we had to go off trail to go into town because...
We did, yeah. The trail itself didn't go through Buckhead Ridge, but that was
needed water. There was no water.
Yeah, there was no water. It was a 13-mile stretch, I think, that we had no additional water, which was fine because we planned for that, which has been something that we've had to really pay attention to out here, and we'll continue to for the foreseeable week. We'll get to why that small period of time might be in a moment. But, we got to Buckhead Ridge, walked through that, came upon a gas station, and they had Hunt's Brothers Pizza.
COP?
Yeah, man. Community-oriented police.
Oh, really?
I don't know. But this gas station had Hunt's Brothers Pizza, and so we got a little excited about that because that was a staple of the early parts of the bike ride.
And it is not good pizza.
No.
But when you're hungry for something salty...
It is good pizza.
It is great pizza.
Yeah. Allie neglected to be able to eat her share, so we still have 2 pieces if anyone wants one. Let me know. I'll send them out your way. But yeah, we sat down and we were pretty committed at that point to take a long break because the pizza was going to take a while. We didn't have any water. We hadn't had a good solid break for a while. And we started looking at the map and started talking and everything, and we're just like, man, this trail is so fucked up. Like the next section, there's no options for resupplying, and maybe we're just spoiled. There are options for resupplying, but they're very few and far between. And I guess when we were on the bike ride, maybe we got accustomed to the ability to basically resupply every single day and carry as little amount of food as we possibly could get away with. And
side note, before you get to that, we had a long conversation with a old guy.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed cracker. Redneck.
He's a redneck, and he's just trying to eat.
Told us about 5 other hikers that he had seen coming through that area, and gave us a lot of great tips with how to deal with the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Such as get a cattail and soak it in diesel fuel and then light it on fire.
They don't like those fumes.
They don't like that smell.
I don't think anyone likes that smell. I also don't know how long that would last.
Yeah, dude. That's so impractical.
I would think so.
And so bad for the environment and probably to breathe in that smoke.
Yeah, but you inevitably
it was really
would.
funny because he was just,
very
as always,
personable.
coming at us like he was the expert. But
Yeah.
he was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He was really interested in what we were doing. He didn't just talk at us. He listened to us. Oh, he's feeding the birds.
Nice. Yeah, he was not as dumb as he seemed.
Yeah.
Which was refreshing. But he was racist and homophobic, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Can't have it all.
No, definitely not.
Especially with old white men.
For sure. But yeah, so he started talking to us, and we had been talking about our general dissatisfaction with the trail up to this point, obviously, and then also the next stretch where it was just like we would have to really be careful with food because...
Yeah, honestly, looking at it makes me a little nervous. And
yeah.
Before anything transpired, I was like, I feel like we need a 0 just to figure out logistics. Like, we were fine bodily, didn't really feel like we needed a shower or laundry.
It seems like
That's
was
always
recent.
nice, but
Yeah.
like we weren't dying for a 0, but I was like, I really feel like we need to sit down and actually map out this section
Yeah.
and how many miles we need to do a day to make sure we have enough food and don't run out, because there are no roads out there.
Yeah.
There's like no options if you run out of food. It's not like you can hitch on the highway. It's just you're in the middle of prairie land or something.
Kissimmee Preserve Prairie Land or something.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, at that point, we had basically decided that we would walk to Okeechobee from where we were, because there was at least a Walmart there, which would be a good resupply option. And then also, again, if we wanted to do scooters or a bike or something like that, we could go look at Walmart for what the cheapest possible solution to that possibility would be. So we got here last night. We walked off trail technically for about 4 miles or so.
But it wasn't that. It was on a
levee.
It was on the Okeechobee path that we were supposed to be on this entire time around the lake.
Yeah.
But has been closed due to construction.
Yeah. Again, like you said, too, construction that's been going on for like 17
over a decade.
years.
Yeah.
Since
Close to
2004.
2 decades.
Yeah. Some hurricane or something that really messed everything up. But in any case, during that walk along the Lost Trail, Lake Okeechobee Scenic Trail, we, I think spearheaded by me, had kind of come to the point where we're like, well, let's just let's go into Okeechobee, let's get a room, and then let's leave, like get a car from Enterprise, and then just go back to Atlanta, get our bikes, our good bikes that we know would be capable of biking around this area, and then just try to do as much of the Florida Trail as we could concurrently with the trail itself, or going off of a different map from the ACA, or doing something to take advantage of the warm weather that's down here for the winter and still do something active in camping and traveling and backpacking, bikepacking, whatever. And so we didn't really do too much last night aside from relax, because I think it was a bit of I would say more of a mental day than a physical day, because it wasn't very hard.
It's
only
never hard. It's always flat around here.
Yeah, it was only like 18 miles.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even warm. It was cold all day for the most part. So, from the big city. But yeah, so we just got to the room last night, drank some beers, got some Mexican food, watched the news for quite a while. That's fun to catch up on now, because
because everything is so crazy,
kind of falling apart, but also going back together at the same time.
Yeah.
With the prospect and the promise of a good president coming in.
Yeah,
that's
and the vaccine.
Yeah, that's true too.
Big steps are being made.
Yeah, man, mistakes were made. So, yeah, we were just chilling last night. Kill Bill came on. Everyone loves Kill Bill. So we watched that, too. And we were in bed around 10:30. And I was kind of still reeling over things, possibilities.
We talked about a lot. We not only talked about, like, what we're going to do for the Florida Trail, but we talked about, like, well, what is this year going to look like? What do we want to do? Like, more longer-term stuff.
Yeah. But it was all just kind of...
We even talked about kids and how much we want kids and how much I want to be pregnant.
I can't wait for that. Ellen Finley, will you be the godmother? Last night was more of just a decompression, I would say.
Yeah.
We could have done a little bit more in the way of figuring out our next steps,
Well,
but that's what today's for. That's what today's for.
We got the hotel for 2 nights.
Yeah.
So we knew we were zeroing.
Yeah.
Maybe more. So.
Yeah. So we woke up pretty early this morning, kind of raring to go.
Yeah.
And around 7 or 7:30, and didn't go back to sleep or anything, so that was good. We got up. I was pretty excited to get the day going because the Walmart was only like a mile away.
And there were so many possibilities and ideas reeling in our brains. We were just like, well, let's go actually see what is available to us.
What can we actually do?
Make work.
And there were a couple of bad options, I would say, such as trying to get a bike from Walmart through their online offerings. And there's a bunch of details. We were looking at fat bikes. We were looking at like really shitty, low-quality mountain bikes. Looking on Amazon about having to get them delivered. And
look at this dog.
Cute.
It's Chuck.
It was going to be a lot of. It was going to be a lot more expensive than the actual cost of whatever we ended up doing because we would have to stay in the hotel longer to wait for the shipping.
A week.
Yeah, probably.
It would have been insane.
That would be if they actually delivered it on time and as expected, which right now is not necessarily a guarantee.
Yeah.
So, Allie, devil on my shoulder, angel on my shoulder, started talking about, well, is it really worth the money? Is this a waste? Is this just like, are we making a mistake, basically, by buying these shitty bikes and then having to wait for them to be delivered? And so we started looking at REI instead so that we could possibly get some bikes that we could do the Florida Trail on that would actually be good quality, reliable, built properly.
The bikes that we would want to keep after we're done, which I think is important if you're going to be spending a considerable amount of money on 2 bikes.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not sure. So, long story short, Walmart didn't work out. We did some logistics out there. We had a delicious McDonald's breakfast, I should mention.
Metaburger.
Yeah, we did. Norm the bird, the sifter bird.
Very friendly.
Yeah. But, so that was kind of fruitless when we were at Walmart. So we walked another, mile and a half back to the pier where we're at now, overlooking Okeechobee. And I started doing some looking into REI.
Because we do have confirmation that there is an REI in Orlando, which is on trail, more or less.
Yeah.
The REI isn't, but the city itself,
it's close enough.
Yeah, and we can always take a more direct route to get there ourselves. Because Lord knows we're very used to road walking.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes it's the most efficient way to do it.
And if there's a bike on the other end of it, that's nice.
Yeah.
That means you only have to go.
There will be.
Yeah. So we decided to go with 2 inexpensive entry-level REI brand mountain bikes, and try to complete the Florida Trail as much as possible and as closely as possible with those bikes instead of continuing to hike. That's going to be something that is interesting so we're a week away or thereabouts in terms of getting to Orlando. So we're going to hike the section that previously was giving us the jitters and the heebie-jeebies.
Yep. So we might not make it to Orlando. But
we have errands.
Starve.
We have things to do today. We need to go back and clean the room. We need to do laundry. We need to do a schedule, which is something we haven't done since the AT. I remember we tried to do that on the bike ride, and that did not work. It was easier just to pick a town than it was to try to decide day by day where you should be going. The scale was off. But for hiking, it's a little bit smarter because up to this point on the Florida Trail, we've just randomly picked camping places.
Yeah.
Kind of at the middle of the day, we'll be like, well, there's one in 5 miles, there's one in 7 miles, so let's probably do the 5 mile one. So we're going to go through all those processes and get ourselves in order, get our lives together, get cleaned up and press on for another week or so.
Yeah.
And then this is going to become a bike packing experience, which is
exciting because we know we'll have more fun with it.
Yeah.
And my favorite statistic so far, whether it's true or not, but something I saw, we actually did find the U.S. Forest Service map for the Florida Trail, and it showed which sections are actually hiking trails, which sections are road walks, which are private land, stuff like that. And read somewhere
Yeah, it was
that-
on the Florida Hikes
Right,
website.
approximately 900 miles of the Florida Trail is road and levee walking.
Yeah.
And the total trail is 1,200 miles, so 9 over 12, that's 3/4 of the trail is road walking.
Yeah.
Which is insane, and we hate road walking, and
Yeah.
it would just be such a weird form of torture that we're putting ourselves through
Mm-hmm.
that we don't enjoy. We're spending money on resupplies and hotels and doing something that we don't even like.
Mhm.
So, and we love biking, and we're good
Uh-huh.
at biking, and it's
Uh-huh.
so efficient, and we're looking forward to getting this completed so we can move on to the next thing, because it was a hard thing to think about, I think, for both of our prides, maybe,
Yeah.
to just get a rental car and leave, quit
Yeah.
the Florida Trail. I mean,
It's not that it's hard. Like,
it's not.
It's
No,
just boring.
nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
We're not sick. We're not injured. We don't have to go back to work. There's no reason why we should have to quit,
Right.
other than we just don't like it, which also would have been fine because I've done that so many times.
Because life is short.
Yeah, but it is. So, like, do things that make you happy and are enjoyable.
And maybe it will actually be a very good introduction to bike packing.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a terrible introduction to hiking.
Right.
Like, from the beginning, northbound through Big Cypress, I mean, that just paints a picture of the well of sadness and despair that you're crawling down into, and the dark hole that's going to envelop and swallow you. Oh, dogs, it's a little dog. Oh, I love those dogs. Oh, dogs.
But yeah, it's an exciting prospect.
And
It's an exciting plan.
Yeah.
Like, everything is in order for us to... gross.
Shit, literally.
To get there and get what we need.
So I think you made this point yourself, but also if you think about, I don't know if it's called amortizing, I think it might be, but if we spend, let's say $1,000 on these two bikes, which is pretty
You
much...
were listening when I was talking about that.
Yeah, I was listening to everything you said, but I was willfully ignoring instead of
Because you want that
passively.
Walmart fat bike that's
That
going
would've
to
been
take
cool.
2 months to ship
Yeah,
here.
it wouldn't have gotten here until February 13th or something. But anyway, so if the Florida Trail took us by foot around 80 days to do, then that's 80 days that would encompass resupplies, hotel stays, etc., all the incidental things, which could equal up to $1,000. It's possible in 75
Well, they
days.
say through hiking is approximately $1,000 a month.
Right.
So 2+ months
$2,000.
for 2 people, though. So
Yeah. Well, I think basically what I'm trying to say is that we might be saving money because we'll be shortening the trip
right,
by buying these bikes. And again, they're bikes that we already wanted.
shortening the trip, like
Yeah.
a matter of like days. We'd be counting days, not months.
Yeah, yeah. At 40 miles a day, it would be 25 days from now to complete it.
If we started biking now, which we
That's
won't,
true.
But
Yeah, so it's
it'll
going to
be
be
even shorter.
Yeah. So
Minus a week that we will be walking.
yeah, that's an exciting update. I hope that it works out well with REI. Thankfully, we skirt around Orlando for a while, so even if they don't get the bikes on the 23rd like they're supposed to, we'll still be in that general area because we're going to be walking so goddamn slow.
And we'll still be on trail, so there'll
Yeah.
be resupplies and
Yeah.
motels if needed, and campsites.
We'll probably
and
take
water.
another zero when we get there. It'll probably take a day just to figure out how we're going to outfit the bikes with our stuff.
Yeah. And
'Cause-
honestly, this section coming up looks like a lot of swamp too. Hopefully not as deep and treacherous and terrifying as
Yeah.
Cypress, but I think we're in for some shit before we get the good
To
stuff.
Pensacola.
Oh yeah.
Also, oh man. Oh yeah, I haven't really noticed for this coming up section that there are as many comments from this year from people who are actively on the trail. Whereas this southern section, dang, there's a lot of birds. I hope we don't get shit on. This southern section has had a good fair amount of information about water levels, about water caches, and about like the construction around Okeechobee. All these like really important things that we just kind of blindly walked into. But this next section, which seems more logistically taxing, doesn't have much information. So as far as I could tell in my cursory overview last night, is that a drone? That really small
Oh
thing?
yeah, might be.
Yeah, it is. That dude's looking up at it. I was going to say, that looks like a weird bird.
Wow.
So, that's the update. Hopefully we'll have a more spirited and fun one later tonight when we get drunk. But, That's another thing, actually, I would like to discuss. Drinking shitty beer as opposed to quote-unquote craft beer or good beer. That's something I've recently found out. I had told Compton, our friend, that I don't really get hungover. But I think I actually have hungover a lot from drinking really heavy craft beers with like 6, 7, and 8% alcohol. Because, drinking a beer is fun, and you kind of just want to keep drinking, just, again, maybe for the oral fixation of it or whatever, or because, each sip is making you feel gooder and gooder. But if you're drinking heavy beers, then you get really drunk. But, I mean, last night we had, like, a bunch of Budweisers and a PBR and a Heineken and stuff, and this is kind of, like, a self-interested introspection on my part. But I just felt good when I went to bed instead of sitting there kind of feeling a little dizzy with like my heart beating hard for some reason. So maybe this is a turning point in my drinking life. Maybe this trail will teach us a lot about us, a lot of stuff.
I think it already has.
Aw.
And
what did I say yesterday? I said this trail has brought us closer together.
yeah. And it's really good for me because all of my existential crises that I've had in the Keys and in Big Cypress, I've kind of gotten over it. May or may not be linked to hormones and cycles and stuff, which I'm still figuring out and kind of concerned about because it's really intense and I don't know what to do about it. But maybe I'm just growing into my womanhood. Aww. Either way.
You're going to be a mother.
No, I'm going to be an emotional wreck.
Same difference. Roasted. Sorry, moms. You had it coming.
But no, just seeing that, like, we're aligning on what we both want. Because we want to be together and we have fun together. That's been established ever since we have gotten together in 2019. And, like, for a while there, I feel like we were kind of parting ways in desires and hopes for the future.
Yeah.
But this experience and even just the fact of switching to biking instead of hiking is so hopeful to me because I wouldn't say that you're seeing it my way because I don't think I have had the right ideas all along. My ideas are crazy and sporadic sometimes and aren't always the best, but we're aligning now.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting because we talk about our future and we talk about, like, I mean, I say our future as in, like, this year. We don't talk about, like, 10-year, 5-year plans.
No.
Because who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But
life is short.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to go.
But yeah, I feel good and optimistic, and I think we're both excited for something new.
Yeah.
That's not hiking the Florida Trail,
Man.
and that's good.
Yeah, and again, I'm glad too because it would be a shame. Well, first of all, I want to say God help all those who will continue to hike the Florida Trail, and specifically with Matt doing the ECT. Like, it would be a shame for us to no longer recognize where he's at.
Yeah.
Because it would be less meaningful, and I think we would probably fall out of touch and interest with what he was doing. So,
and I think also we do have in our minds that we want to complete this.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you said before, we want to be in Florida when the weather's nice and there's not really any other place to be that has warm weather, and that's definitely what we're after.
Yeah.
So it's a good goal to accomplish, and we don't want to quit.
No.
So we're just changing modes.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Change is good.
Yeah. And who knows? You can bike the Pinhoti.
Yeah.
Maybe that with this conversation, we're not ready for that yet. We need to figure out how this is all going to work.
Bike the ECT. You can't bike the ECT.
You definitely
that
can't bike the AT. No. So it would definitely stop short of that. But we could maybe bike to Amicalola.
Maybe.
It would be cold though. All right. Well, this is getting back to when we were having
our ideas. It was
yeah.
just like, we could do this, we could do this, we could go here,
yeah.
do this, which is really awesome. Like, we're such in a place of privilege to be able to spitball ideas like this and all of them be real possibilities if we put in a fairly minimal amount of work to make them happen. So we're living the good life. We're very blessed and privileged, and we're well financed, and it's a really good place to be. And now we're aligning in our desires. So exciting things upcoming.
Yeah, definitely.
Optimistic for sure.
Yeah, and we got bikes, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
mountain bikes, dude.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
Perfect for the trail.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that we've been on aside from the swamp so far would have been so much better. I think the real breaking moment for me yesterday was when we had to go over
Oh my god.
to the we had to do this mile section of the walk, which wasn't a lot, but I mean it's a lot when you're thinking that you're ultimately trying to go straight, and we had to do this like 90-degree turn thing over a bridge to cross a body of water, and it took us like
canal.
20 minutes
Yeah.
just to go around this thing and get
And
to
there
a point.
there were people in their boats in
Yeah.
the water, and we were like, we could totally just like go down there and ask them to like just drive
Ferry
us
us
across
across
like 50
15
feet
yeah.
across the river or the canal or whatever, and it was just, man, this trail is so stupid.
Hiking is very disempowering. It's a little bit too humbling because it's just like it's literally as slow as you can go.
I would say this kind of hike, because like our AT experience was so fruitful and
Yeah.
was so like reassuring, magical. We loved it. There's no
Yeah.
bad part about the AT.
And you can't,
that we
maybe that's the
remember.
thing too, because we just said you can't bike the AT, so there's not even
Right.
a point of wishing you could go 10 miles an hour, because if you did, you'd fucking die. You'd crash into something, you'd break your head, your spine.
So I wouldn't say that we're like anti-backpacking hiking now,
No.
because we definitely aren't, but like those things for us in our minds should be reserved for wild places
Yeah.
that you can't have any other mode of travel,
Right.
be it for like environmental protection, habitat protection, like all the things considered. And I'm sure that's here in Florida, whatever, but like
I don't
Florida
know.
is so weird
Yeah.
anyways.
I'd drive that. All right, well, we should get back to the hotel.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it is cold and we got stuff to do. So, all right, bye.
Bye.